So I know for a lot of people, it's really tough starting out. And, the hardest part about this whole thing is getting models to model for you, or, people to model for you, and make money in the meantime, because this is a business where there's so many photographers out there that will shoot pretty girls for free. How do you make money off of that? And, how do you bring them into your studio or to a location, wherever you shoot, for that first time? And, just like any other sales thing, you need a loss leader. You need to bring them in. And I use a thing called social media sessions. They're just quick, easy sessions. They get maybe 15 photos. I think I have on my thing 10 to 15. I charge a lot less than a regular session. You charge whatever you want. I don't give a whether it's $40 or $100. It just doesn't matter. The point is to get them in and make them a customer. If you can get them in and you can do some great photos for them, I limit this to one time, so they get, a social media session one time, then they have to book a regular session. Anyway, with that being said, I don't want to spend a lot of time on retouching, because you know how much time that takes. And if you have somebody with, heavy blemishes or something like that, you're losing money. So I needed a way to go, okay, here are the images I selected. I throw them on my computer. It batch processes them for me. It spits them out, and then I send them to the client. Simple as that. Now, for me, for the system I'm using, I would actually use the same thing for full sessions, for proofs, online proofs. No ifs, ands, or buts, because it's really that good. Now, it does screw up. It's not perfect by any means, but out of all the different things I've tried everything, Portrait Pro to, Lightroom's own with their AI stuff and all that kind of stuff. I've tried everything, and I couldn't find something that I liked that didn't look plasticky or overdone. And then I got Retouch for me. And man, biting the bullet in this, I tried the heel first. And when I first tried the heel, I was just like, oh yeah, it's okay. But then I'm thinking, well, you know what? It's a lot more natural than anything I've ever tried. It doesn't overdo it. It doesn't presume to just fix everything. It just makes life easier for you. And then I went through each one. I got the Skintone, which I absolutely love because it corrects skin tone. I shouldn't say correct. It evens out the skin tone where it needs to be evened out, especially for if somebody's legs aren't as lit as their face. Sometimes the legs go a little reddish or a little, a different color versus the face, which is, natural skin tone, more yellowish and so forth. But it evens that out for you. And you can do it in layers so you can adjust it and so forth. But for me, I make it a quick script. So I put my stuff on the iPad, I pick my 15 images or 10 images, wherever it's going to be. I put them on the computer, I run the script, and I'm going to show you very quickly. I'm not going to give you a tutorial on this, but, really quickly, I make an action with all the different Retouch for me programs or add-in plugins, whatever they're called. And then, when I dump them in the folder, I just have to open up Photoshop, click, File, Scripts, Run Script, and it just does them for me. I can go eat, have coffee, whatever I want to do. I come back, I put them back on the iPad to go through them, make sure there's no major errors or anything like that, because it does screw up once in a while. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it's really, really good. This saves me so much time and so much effort to let that run by itself, bring them back in, and give them to the client. It's just a nice, easy, quick photo shoot. The touch-up is nice, so they're not heavy. But I'm going to just walk you through. I'm going to show you the shoot really quick because I'm using the 300D or the 308, whatever this is called, the Explorer 300 Pro and 8300 Pro for Godox, whatever. And this softbox. The grid on here has separated grid parts, which is really hard. But I do love the softbox. It's really nice. This is a nice setup, but it was actually too powerful in here, so I switched over to the 8100 with the Angler. But these grids, most of them are connected. It's just one solid thing around. These have individual tabs with Velcro, so you have to rip off each individual. It drives me nuts. Anyway, I'll get to the shoot really quick. This is a really nice setup. I'm going to leave a link in the description for this for 20% off. Yes, I make money on this. I have no issue with that whatsoever because I actually like this product. I don't like the, let me rephrase, like when I got these, they were like $129. I paid for all of these. I didn't get any of these for free. But I did get 2 of them at a 20% discount, which I was really appreciative of. And I literally bought them all. I didn't care because, when I tried the first one, I tried the second one. I'm like, wait a second, these are actually working and they're good and it's making my life easier. The only thing I have an issue with is the whitened teeth one. It's not, when it works, it's really, really good, but it's been crashing my Mac. So I'm not sure if they have an update. I have to check on that. All the other ones work flawlessly, but when I try to run the whitened teeth, it was crashing. So hopefully they have that fixed, but all the other ones they're really good. And the Portrait Volumes is excellent, but decrease it, at the top slider bar, decrease that to, 50, 60%, because that's the one that will take it to being a little, unreal. Not bad by any means whatsoever, but when you decrease the stuff, like you can just decrease it, and when you run the script, it'll run the script percentage you put it at. Anyway, here's the shoot, and I'll show you after at the end what it's done. I'll leave the link in the description. Try one of these. They're really, really impressive. Honestly, they just work. And the fact that I can save you 20% and make money on myself, I'm good with that too. Anyway, here's the shoot, and then watch to the end and you'll see how it's done in the computer and so forth, and how I set up the action and the script. Anyway, have a great day. Hope you enjoy. Well, this video is definitely more about the post-processing versus the shoot itself, but I wanted to add the shoot here because I'm using the Nikon Z6 II with an 85 1.8 S lens and the 8300 Pro, or the Flashpoint Evolve 300 Pro, whatever it is, and the easy softbox that connects directly to the 8300 or 8400, whatever. It's that smaller softbox mount, which it's really nice. I do absolutely positively hate the grid that comes with it. You know how most grids are just a round circle, but this grid has separation, so it's like such a pain. Like each segment is separated and you have to pull off each very strong Velcro segment on its own. So it's a pain. But anyway, I'm on that lightweight stand. I absolutely love that lightweight stand. It is a little light for this setup for the 8300, but it worked. Outside, I think it would be a little iffy. And now I'm just taking off the softbox and going with the standard reflector that you can get for the 8300 Pro, for that harsh light look, which, I'm doing this on purpose because, the slightest blemishes on somebody's face when you're using a hard light will look twice as bad. And, the whole idea of this is a quick social media session that's inexpensive. I deliver these probably in 3,000 top 3,000 by 2,000, I would say. So they're low res. They're not made for printing or anything like that. It's just a quick social media session, they call it. But here's that grid, and you see how it's like each segment is separate instead of just one round one where you can just pull it right off. But it's a pain in the ass. Anyway, so getting back to where I was, the social media sessions are just low res, and I want them quick. I don't want to spend an hour on retouching every single face when you're doing, a inexpensive, quick retouching, or session. And I offer the sessions like with no retouching and then with light retouching. And this is what I'm going to show you is how I do my light retouching without having to worry about, spending hours on a photo. Especially when they have, heavier pimples or blemishes and so forth. Anyway, I'm switching over the light now to that pop-up box with the AD100, with the angler. Inside, even with this is all I needed. The 300 was absolute overkill because I was shooting at the 1.8. again, this whole session and this whole thing is done for quick, easy social media sessions, so it's inexpensive. And I try to get a lot of people on this session because, and it's only offered to them once, it's a one-time thing. But once they get in and see what you can do and see your work, the object is to say, okay, come back again and, shoot again with me and, do the regular sessions. So it's like this lost leader into, something bigger and better, if you will. Anyway, so this was the session. Like I said, it's quick, it's easy, it's to the point. But, here's the before and the after, and I'm going to show you like exactly what I do with the images. You can see, the blemishes on her forehead and our cheek and so forth. And that's from that down light, that harsh light. It depends where the light is and on how much you're going to get of that. But there it is after the retouching. It's not perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. It looks natural. Being plasticky is, even with a quick session like this, it's just not going to work. So I tried these. Believe me, I've tried every different thing there is. But I tried these Retouch for Me plugins. Retouch for Me, I think I have like 5 different ones or 6 different ones. So, the first one I'm going to do is the Retouch for Me Heal, which is supposed to take care of the blemishes and so forth. And it does a really good job. And then the next one I do is the Retouch for Me Dodge and Burn. Now, what I'm doing on this is I'm actually setting up an action in Photoshop. So it goes through each one of them. So I'm recording the action, and then I can drop them in and do this all in a batch, which saves you so much time. So I'll bring the photos into the iPad in Lightroom. I'll pick the ones I want to do, and then I export them onto my computer because you can't use these actions on the iPad. So I'll put them in my computer, and I just run the script. So it'll do everything in that folder and do it for me. Once in a while it'll screw up and give you, some kind of artifact or something like that. But 90% of the time, they just come out the way they should. So this whole process here is me going through each one. This one is doing skin tone. I love the skin tone because it does even out skin tone. It will actually, like, if their hand is a different shade because it's a little bit in the shadows or something like that, it does minor adjustments to even out the skin tones from her face to her neck to her hands. It's actually pretty amazing. And believe me, I wouldn't say this if I didn't mean it. And I'm going to give you a 20% discount link down below, and I'm going to make money off of this, no ifs, ands, or buts. And I wouldn't be doing it unless I honestly believed in this. Trust me on that one. I've tried Portrait Pro. I've tried them all. This is the only one that doesn't make everything look fake, in my opinion. Now, the Dodge and Burn, this will actually help with the blemishes as well, and that, the different skin tones, and it just works correctly. And, while you're doing this, if you're doing each image like this, one at a time versus batch like I do it. Now, remember, like, if somebody wanted to order a print, I'm not going to give them this photo. I'm going to hand do the photos myself. But if they're just, if they're just previewing these, or if this is for a social media session where it's only like 2,000 or 3,000 DPI, like I'm not going crazy on this. It's just, it is what it is. It's light retouching. There'll still be some hairs that texture, it's not perfect, but it looks so much better than having blemishes on her face. And you can see up top, like I adjusted the blend. And you can go through and do each one of these. And I'm doing the different layers just to show you. So if something does screw up, I'm not screwed for the whole image. I can just go back and readjust that layer. Anyway, getting back to this. So I'm going through each one. Eye brilliance is always a little too much for me. So you can either adjust it right here, or you can adjust it by fading the effect. That's up to you and how you want to do it. There's no better way, I don't think. And the thing is, when you do the script and you export these, because like I'll run these, run them through the batch and then export them back into the iPad. if you save these as a PSD in layers like that, it'll actually pull up in layers when you take it from Lightroom into Photoshop on the iPad, which is absolutely fantastic. But the blend mode, like I'll go up and click edit, and then I'll do fade, and I'll fade it down to probably 50%, whatever it is. But definitely fade this because it is too much with the eye brilliance. It's just like so much. Now, the other one that after this is eye vessels. The red eye, they drank too much the night before. That actually works extremely well. And that's one of my favorite parts of this because, there's nothing more tedious than doing eye vessels in somebody's eyes. It's a pain in the butt. Now, if you're charging $100 for a quick social media session or whatever you're going to charge, you don't want to do this by hand, every single one. So this is so much easier. And even if you did a full session and you're showing 40 proofs for them to buy off of, they're more apt to buy and more apt not to skip a photo when they don't have big zits or they're showing so much, because if the light hits them right, this part of the face is going to look as bad. They may push for that one more than the one that shows off more zits because they don't realize what you're going to do to the image afterwards. You can tell them all you want. Hey, I'm going to touch it up. Don't worry about it. But they don't see it that way. All they see is I look horrible, next image, which makes you lose sales. If they look good in every image, you have more chance of selling, more images. Just my opinion. And like I said, you don't have to use these for your final product. If they say, hey, I want this photo and I want this photo, then you go in and retouch it the way it's supposed to be done. The other thing with the retouch for me is it doesn't resize your image. Like, there's so many different apps that will actually resize your image or change it too much or it's destructive. This here is just, I don't know, like this is the first plugins that I found that I actually, I have no issue giving it to it in a social media or presenting them as proofs online. It works. You're going to have hiccups, absolutely. You'll get some that'll it's too much. But I'm telling you, I've probably had 2 bad images for one of these. This is the other thing. When you zoom in, you can't actually just zoom in on when you're inside this app. You have to scroll and it's a pain in the ass. But other than that, it's actually pretty good. And like I said, blending. Now there's, you can also put these in layers, which is really nice. So, in other words, when you do this, on the top right corner, it says soft light layer. Like, you create a layer and then you can actually see what was done and see the, original versus the other one. And when you apply it, it'll bring it into Photoshop, back into Photoshop as a layer so you can make corrections when you need it. Anyway, so this is the scripts image processor. Because remember, I saved that as an action. I'm going to click image processor. You select the folder that it's in. You can save as JPEG, save as PSD, whatever you want to do. And then you click run. Select your action, of course. And I'm sorry I'm not going through this more detailed, but there's, tons of people that can teach you how to do actions and scripts and so forth. But it's really that easy. I just literally did the whole process for you right there. But anyway, this is going to run through all the photos that are in the folder. So, say I picked the 15 images that I'm going to deliver under the social media session. I put them in a folder on my computer. I run that script and I got my finished product. Then I pull them back into the iPad and just do the light retouch and anything it missed or anything I need, but it's really light and easy and quick. So, and you can see the results. They're actually really good. They don't look fake. I still have skin texture. And you can adjust it to where you want it to be on each one while you're doing the script, or the action and then move on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it.